What happens when an ordinary flight turns into a viral controversy? For Barron Trump, a simple trip quickly spiraled into chaos, but no one anticipated the storm that erupted when Melania arrived. The final boarding call echoed through the busy terminal of Dallas Love Field Airport. Barron Trump sat quietly near Gate C-12, his tall frame folded into a chair that seemed almost too small for him. With his head down, scrolling through his phone, he tried to blend into the sea of travelers rushing to catch their flights. At 17, his life was far from ordinary, yet he had perfected the art of keeping a low profile. Today, however, that effort was about to be tested. A gate agent, a middle-aged man with sharp features and an air of impatience, approached the priority boarding area. His eyes lingered on Barron, something about the teenager's quiet demeanor seemingly rubbing him the wrong way. "Excuse me, young man," the agent said, his tone laced with skepticism. "Are you sure you're in the right boarding group?" Barron looked up, his expression calm but slightly puzzled. "Yes. I have a first-class ticket," he responded, his voice polite yet firm. The agent scrutinized him, glancing at his phone, casual hoodie, and sneakers. "Can I see your ticket?" Barron hesitated for a moment. This wasn't the first time he had been singled out for no apparent reason. Still, something about the agent's tone felt different, more hostile. He handed over his boarding pass, his name clearly displayed on the screen. "Barron Trump," the agent read aloud, pausing. His expression shifted. Instead of backing off, his demeanor became even more rigid. "Wait here." Passengers around them started to take notice. A low hum of whispers spread through the terminal. Barron felt his cheeks grow warm but kept his face neutral. Moments later, the agent returned with a supervisor. "There's an issue with your ticket," the supervisor stated. "We need you to step aside while we sort this out." Barron frowned. "What issue? I booked this ticket weeks ago." "We're handling it, sir," the supervisor replied curtly. "Please step away from the gate." Barron reluctantly complied, aware of the growing number of onlookers. Some travelers discreetly pulled out their phones, recording the interaction. He exhaled, frustration simmering, but he remained composed, unwilling to escalate the situation. But the situation was far from over. Minutes passed. Barron leaned against a column, watching passengers board their flights without issue. The weight of the staff's stares, the murmurs from the crowd, it all felt heavier with each second. Was this about his last name? Or was it something else entirely? Finally, the supervisor returned. "We can't verify your identity in our system. Do you have another form of ID?" Barron furrowed his brow. "My passport is in my carry-on bag. You didn't even check it." The supervisor hesitated, caught off guard by the logical response, but instead of backing down, he doubled down. "Sir, this isn't just about ID. There are procedures we need to follow." "Procedures?" Barron repeated, disbelief creeping into his voice. "I've flown through this airport dozens of times without an issue." The gate agent interjected, his tone defensive. "We've had some irregularities lately. You're not being singled out." But Barron could see through him. So could others. A woman holding a toddler on her hip spoke up. "What's the problem? He's just a kid with a ticket. Let him board." The supervisor ignored her, focusing solely on Barron. "You'll need to wait here for further review. If you don't comply, we'll have to escalate the matter." "Escalate?" Barron echoed, his patience wearing thin. "What exactly are you escalating? I've done nothing wrong." As if on cue, two airport security officers appeared. The sight of them made Barron's chest tighten, not from fear but from sheer disbelief at how quickly this had spiraled. Phones were out now, recording every second. "Sir, please come with us," one officer said in a measured tone. "We just need to ask you a few questions." Barron exhaled, grabbed his carry-on bag, and followed them to a small, sterile room near the gate. Inside, an officer flipped through his passport while Barron sat, staring at the blank wall ahead. "This is ridiculous," he muttered under his breath. One officer looked up. "We're just following protocol, son." That word again, protocol. It was starting to sound more like an excuse than a legitimate reason. But what Barron didn't know was that someone else was already on her way, and she was furious. In the back seat of a black SUV weaving through Dallas traffic, Melania Trump sat poised, scrolling through her phone. Her original plan had been a quick surprise visit to greet her son, but the flood of messages and social media alerts changed everything. One video caught her eye, a clip of Barron being led away by security. She watched it twice, her expression darkening. "Driver, hurry," she said, her voice cool but firm. Back at the airport, Barron remained in the holding room, drumming his fingers on the table. The door opened. The supervisor from earlier stepped in, avoiding eye contact. "We're still working on clearing things up," he said stiffly. "How much longer?" Barron shot back. "You've had my information for almost an hour." The supervisor mumbled something about procedures and left again. Barron sighed, running a hand through his hair. Then the door opened again, but this time it wasn't an airport employee. Melania Trump stepped in, her presence instantly shifting the energy in the room. The officers stiffened. The supervisor paled. "What is going on here?" she asked, her voice calm but laced with authority. One officer fumbled for words. "This is just standard protocol, ma'am." Melania's gaze turned icy. "You are holding my son in a small room with no explanation. What kind of protocol is this?" The supervisor stammered. "Mrs. Trump, this is all just a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Her voice sharpened. "Do you treat all passengers this way, or just the ones you decide don't belong in first class?" The room fell into heavy silence. Melania turned to Barron, her expression softening. "Are you okay?" she asked quietly. "I'm fine," he said, though frustration lingered in his voice. Melania straightened, her gaze locking onto the supervisor. "You owe my son a public apology." And she wasn't leaving until she got it.